Are we excited today? Guess what? I finally got that plate reverb done. Check this out, huh? Right here. Okay, on the stereo return. Can you read that? It says plate reverb, baby. Yes, sir, Bob. Now we gotta grind this puppy down. I think it's gonna sound stupendous. So we got to go to Lowe's. Today I went to my favorite big box store and I got us 4 big old eye bolts for my springs, and we are ready to grind this puppy down and get her done. Oh, I think it's gonna be perfect. Now what I got going on, I'm going to the plate reverb from auxiliary 8. That's this row right here, okay, on the mixing board. It's just a bus, an auxiliary that goes to the plate reverb, and I have it post. That means after the faders. Okay, so any sound I want, I can send to my plate reverb and it comes back through this. This is a stereo channel. I'm so excited I can't even contain myself. But okay, it goes out of auxiliary 8 and it goes into this headphone amp right here, okay? Auxiliary 8 goes into there. That goes into the transducer. The transducer is in here, right there, okay? So that's just all that is part out of a headphone. Coming from that headphone amplifier, okay? And these guys here go into that stereo channel. It's pretty simple, really, okay? Positive, negative, and then you always got to ground out your plate. So I got it grounded out right here, and then it comes down here into the direct boxes, and you know, left, right, and those go into the board, into that stereo channel. Pretty simple. Inside of every studio hermit, there's a mad scientist just waiting to get out. And I've got a word for AI. Don't you even mess with us or our livelihood. Wee doggy. Hey, I'm Studio Hermit Ed, and welcome back to my studio. Man, am I having fun this week. I love that. I'm talking to you on my talkback mic attached to my Yamaha PM4000 by 60 mixing board. Okay, this thing is awesome. And you are listening to me on Matrix 1 and 2. I finally got around to making a cord that goes from Matrix 1 and 2 stereo into my camera. So before you were always mono, okay, that's all. But on Matrix 1. Now you're on Matrix 1 and 2, which makes it stereo. Neat, huh? So, hey, you saw my plate reverb from by now, and I'm all excited about that. But what does it sound like? I got a snare queued up here. Now, this is a song I've been working on. It's called Bloody Water. And it's an old song I wrote after all the problems with the churches and you know, the extracurricular activities that were going on there. But I wrote a song called Bloody Water. And no one's ever heard it. You are going to be the first ones to hear it today. So you're going to hear Studio Ed do a rock and roll song. This is a little different. So Bloody Water is the song we're working on. What does a snare drum sound like going through my plate reverb? That's where we're at. Let's see. It's not high fidelity, but it does the trick. I like it in a mix. So let's see what it sounds like. In your mind, you're better than me. So who am I to disagree? Take me down to your bloody water. Who will cleanse me from your sin? Take me down to your bloody water. Am I good enough to let me in? Take me down. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just me playing all that nonsense. I kind of like what my plate reverb does on a rock and roll song. It has a little bit of crispiness in that plate, and I'm going to play that whole song at the end of this video. So that's my plate reverb on a song, and you'll hear the whole thing, like I said, at the end here. But I'm happy with that plate reverb. It was worth the work. Yes, anything worthwhile takes a lot of work. But am I too old to do this? That's the question that I had here. And this week, a problem came up that I'm starting to notice in my studio. I got a big problem. So that's what we're going to address next. I don't know whether you can see that screen behind me. It's right there. Okay. But the problem I'm having when a band, I can't see that screen. Okay, when I'm going to make a new session, you know, I gotta type a lot, and I can't see the screen with my eyes. Okay, it's like, and sometimes I think, you know, I'm too old for this. The problem is bifocals. If you know anything about bifocals, okay, they're kind of cut in half, your glasses. In the bottom half, you can see to read up close, and the top half, you're supposed to be able to see far away for like driving. Okay. And the minor transition, these glasses cost over $1,000. So, you know, but my problem is that screen's in between. And I know what you're saying, trifocals. I'm not going there. The reason why, I do a lot of electrical work at work, okay? I'm standing on a ladder, which is hard enough to get up a ladder with bifocals, okay? Because you're looking, it's crazy. You can't, I hope by time you younger ones, when you get to be my age, they got a better idea. They need to make a better plan, okay? But I guess it's all we got right now. So my bifocals, doing electrical work. You know, don't forget the top is made to see far away. Okay, so you're on a ladder and you're working with high voltage wires 3-phase above your head. I can't see. So I spend most of my day at work with them off, just trying to do the best I can. Okay, reading glasses, but it's a pain in the butt. There's a lot of fixes for that. Now, what I used to do, let me show you here. Okay, so I've got this, and this is another thing I get a lot of comments about. But why is my mixing board facing the wall? It's facing my speakers. You know, because it sounds better. It's a recording studio. I don't care what it looks like on YouTube. I don't care, you know. What the most important thing to me is the sound. And where everything is at in here, trust me, I'm an old man and I have studied this for 50 years, okay? And I have been in this room for 25 years. And the way I have it set up, this room has been set up every way you can possibly imagine in your head. I have tested it. I have run tests like you could not believe in the computer. And I've EQ'd it. I've tried everything. Okay, it sounds best this way. This particular room, my room, it's 12 by 24, this room. The other one is the same. Okay, rectangles aren't great, but just look up the roll of thirds and maybe it'll help you understand. Okay, so that's why things are set up the way they are. Now, it reminds me of another thing I wanted to bring up today is my winged chairs. Now, look at this here. Okay, you see, that is what they call a winged chair. Now, it's got these arms on it, okay? And it's got these wings that come out on the sides. Okay, when you're sitting in that chair in my studio, which is where I do a lot of my mixing, just listening to songs I'm mixing. Okay, when I crank up the speakers that are over here, okay, even with the mixing board in the middle, sitting in these winged chairs, you can hear pretty good. So maybe that'll help some of you make sense of my studio. But I do a lot of mixing sitting in this chair. I do a lot at the board too. Mixing, I'm talking. Tracking is a whole other thing. Tracking, you're right. I got to be able to see out that window. But the most important thing when I'm tracking, I'm sorry to break this to you. The most important thing is my computer screen. Okay, that's where I do my gain staging. Yes, there's a lot done in analog, but that's pretty much set it and forget it. Okay, if you've got racks of gear, okay, think of this giant mixing board, okay? Think of it as a giant rack, okay? There are 60 preamps, and also I can move anything from anywhere to anywhere. My whole studio is hooked into this board because it works. And by the way, if you're wondering about phase, I have checked it. I've recorded it. Everything's perfect. I don't know how they did it, but this Yamaha board, for some reason, is very well made. Okay, they paid a lot of attention to phase and whatnot on the buttons. Okay, if you've ever done this before, you know what I'm talking about, because I know my Allen and Heath, and I loved that board. It was a GL4000. But when I started moving things from one place to another, I lost the phase, okay? I don't know why that was. It was old too, so I don't know. I'm not judging. I'm just saying what I have experienced. But anyway, when a band comes in tracking, the most important thing is the screen. And it will be eventually facing the band, okay, in the live room. I'm pretty much just setting everything when they first come in, and I keep an eye on the compressors, make sure, I'm not banging something off, gonna blow something up, but pretty much this analog gear is pretty much set it and forget it. And I know that's boring, but I'm not sitting here mixing while band's tracking. Yeah, I'm doing some little things like giving them some reverb in their headphones, or the drummer might say, hey, I need more this or that, more the bass guitar, or more the click track if we're running one. But that's all done before the song starts, and then I can look at them and watch my computer screen. Okay, that's what. So in other words, where this keyboard is, there will be a desk here. I just haven't gotten around to it yet this summer. And the keyboard will go under the desk in a drawer and pull out. And my screen will be up here. And my keyboard and my mouse, sorry to disappoint you, but that's how I will track, with behind a computer screen and my mouse. And I wouldn't do it any other way in 2025. I mean, I love analog gear, but come on. I'm not that stupid, okay? I'm not that set in my ways. I love the digital stuff, and I will track a band sitting behind a computer. Sorry. But all this stuff comes into play, okay? I think I might have opened some eyes as to why things are the way they are in here. But that's going to solve my eyeball problem. Don't just look at a YouTube picture and say that's how this is done, okay? It's a little more complicated than that. This is Studio Hermit Ed, and it's time for me to go now. I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, make sure and subscribe and hit some dingy-dongies down there. I don't care which one, okay? Because it'll make me feel good. When I look and I see y'all, especially when you leave me a message. Yeah, I need words of wisdom, even at my age. So thank you so much for your kindness. And till I see you next time, I gotta go now. I think the wife's honey-do list is getting long while I'm sitting here. So check y'all later. Bye-bye. You laid her down upon your altar, had your way, stole away her faith. She trusted you with her innocence. You raped